Okay, I've got another problem with the 2004 Pontiac Montana. It's not a big problem, but this time of year I definitely need to try to get it fixed. What's going on? My blower motor switch started going off and on sometime this summer. It wasn't a big deal, but a lot of times I would start it up, start on down the road, my switch wouldn't work. I had no control on my AC, but then as I drove for a few miles, all of a sudden it would come on. One of those intermittent problems, one of the worst kind of problems you can have. I didn't take care of it, I just let it go. I just got back from a 2,000-mile journey up to the great North Country. On my way up there, it went out. The blower motor just stopped working. I have nothing. Control 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, nothing is working. There's a little sensor that connects right to the actual blower underneath the dashboard, and I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to put a new sensor in there and see if that's going to control it. I believe the sensor is not the correct word for it. Let me get the terminology for you. Hey, I appreciate you coming to the channel. That's LAF Space Film Fest. It's capital LAF Space Film Fest. So here's the part I'm going to replace. It's a standard, and I see it's an RU50 resistor. So it's called a resistor, and this is what controls your fan. The speeds on your fan. So when your fan's on 5, all the power is going through it. When you put it on 1, this resists the power down. Your fan blows a lot easier on 1 than it does 5. Now I apologize for that explanation because, as you know, once again, like I say on all my videos, I am not a mechanic. I try to do things to save myself a little bit of money. And here on the 2004 Pontiac Montana, just like any other older vehicle, things are going to break down. And what I always say, though, is when they break down and you replace them, hey, it's like a brand new vehicle. At least that part is brand new. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out, the resistor that's in there now, put a new resistor in and see if it doesn't do the trick for me. I'm hoping that it's going to work. Okay, well, I can tell you right now, this is not necessarily going to be an easy project because it's one of those projects where the sensor is underneath the dash. It's underneath the glove compartment, and that's always hard to get underneath there and try to work. With the 2004 Pontiac Montana, with my 2004 Pontiac Montana, I've already started doing some modifications. I've taken some things away from the bottom of this dash, and I'm opening it up because I use it for my YouTube business, I use it for my painting business, and I don't really need a lot of the plastic and things that they had in here. So that's what I've done. If what I'm getting ready to show you underneath the dash isn't exactly like yours, it's because I've already removed some of the plastic pieces and I have no intention of ever putting it back in. It's kind of become a custom 2004 Pontiac Montana, an LAF Film Fest custom machine. Got a bandana right here, but you can see here's your radio that comes down, and underneath it I actually have that whole area open. It is completely open underneath there. It used to have like a little compartment down there, and the reason I took most of that out of there is because when you're in the driver's seat and you pull up for the evening to spend the night, and let's say it is one of those times where you're just going to get a few hours sleep and you want to park in a Walmart parking lot like that and kind of be incognito, you can get out of the driver's seat, and there's plenty enough room now to squeeze between the two seats and go to the back. So that's why I actually have my captain chair folded up against it, but it's usually folded down. And then you can go around, and then of course that way you can get in the back. All this down here has already been removed. This part right here is my cigarette lighter, and it used to be underneath my cup holder, but what I've done is I've modified it. I've moved it under here, This works good because with all my batteries and chargers, when I'm out on the road filming, it's really nice because I can plug multiple things in, and I actually don't even have the glove box lid on it anymore, and I can put my batteries and store my batteries right here. And I actually have a shelving unit that I have right here that I can store my batteries on. So I'm customizing it to my work, the way I need for it to go. Okay, well, enough about the modifications. You can see underneath here is your blower motor. Mine is very easy to see. You can just look underneath here and there it is. But I'm pretty sure there used to be a piece of trim, some kind of a plastic housing that covered that up, and I've removed that. If you follow my videos, you know the one thing that I've done with the 2004 Pontiac Montana is I had a problem with water coming in from the condensing line. It was running down the firewall and it got all my carpet wet, so I pulled all my carpet out, and in the process of pulling everything out, I went ahead and pulled that piece of trim that's out, so it's gone now. Now this wire right here actually goes through my cigarette lighter, and eventually I'm going to take that and zip tie that up so it's out of the way. The piece you're looking for is this one right here. This is your switch resistor. Okay, you see that hole right there and the two screws in the back? That hole is where that steel piece on that resistor fits up in there, and then the two screws were very tough to get to, but you had to loosen those two screws, and then there was one in the very front, and then I had to loosen the two in the very back and drop it out of there. Okay, so the part itself sat up in there like that right there. This is very hard to film in these tight areas like this, but the part fit up in there like that, and then actually it comes down, it comes out of there. So this is your resistor right here. This steel plate right here goes up in that hole. Your two screws on the back of it against the firewall, you fit it up in there, slide it against those screws, and then you have one screw in the very front. This wire right here will connect to that blower outlet right there. This wire right here will connect directly into the resistor. So I got the old one out. Once again, you're going to have some kind of a shroud on this that you're going to need to take off. There's going to be some kind of a shroud that you're not going to be able to see this right away that you take off, but eventually you're going to find that way back in there. You got two screws on the back you got to loosen up. You got to take out the screw on the front. It will slip itself out of there. You bring it out and then you put the new one in. Okay, well here is the new one in the box. Once again, that was an RU50 resistor. This is a standard brand. Let's go ahead and open that up. And there is the new resistor in it. It's just like the one I just took out. So what I'm going to try to do, rather than to get this mounted, I'm going to go ahead and just plug it in and see if my blower motor is going to work before I try to mount it all back up again. Okay, so you have this wire here, and if you notice you have a clip on it, and there's a little notch on the actual resistor itself, and that clip will clip over that notch, and that's what keeps it in place. So that's how you know you're going to plug it in the correct way. So that is going to plug in. That's going to go on there like that. There we go. Okay, it clicked on. So there are the wires that go on there. Okay, and I got it clicked on, the new resistor. And now this wire right here is going to plug just right into the blower motor. And it'll go in there like this. And it just clips in right there. Okay, so at this point right here, the new resistor is in place. So let's see if the blower is going to work. Just go ahead and start it. Start the vehicle up. Let the bell stop. Okay. Now, we'll go ahead and turn it on. And I hear it. There you go. Working. All right. All right. Good news. Good news. Now, what's really strange is whenever I bought the 2004 Montana, number 4 never did work. And on the old one, I got to looking at the old one, and I noticed this little connector, one of these little notches right here, the solder was broke loose. So I imagine that's probably why number 4 didn't work. Why the rest of them went off, I don't know, but it was intermittent, starting to fail anyways. This was $59 at O'Reilly's Auto Parts. So for $59, I have my blower motor is working again. All right, good deal. Okay, so that's a pretty good deal right there. For $59, I was able to fix that. All I've got to do is put it back in place, put those screws back in there, and I'll be ready to go. I've modified the 2004 Pontiac Montana for my lifestyle, the way I use it. You'll have more pieces to put back together. If you want to put it back together stock, I took off some of these pieces underneath drink holder, and I have so much more room here to move my feet, and especially if you plan on getting out of the cockpit, getting out of the driver's seat and working your way to the back and then back and forth. It makes so much extra room right here. So I appreciate you coming to the channel. I hope that helps you out a lot. Once again, I'm not a mechanic, but there's certain things I just would rather not take it to my mechanic. And I know he's a fair mechanic, and I know he's a good mechanic, but still, it costs a lot of money to run it in there. It takes a lot of time. You got to drop it off. You got to leave your vehicle and all that. Sometimes I just like fixing it myself, saving the money and the inconvenience of trying to drop your vehicle off and then pick it up the next day or whatever. So I appreciate you coming to the channel. Hey, hit that subscribe button if you would, please. Hammer it down. I appreciate it, and it helps me to put out little videos like this. If you have a 2004 Pontiac Montana, or if you have even a 2004-ish GM, even if it's a truck, a car, this may help you, because a lot of times they're all set up pretty close to the same. So thank you for coming to the channel, and you have a good day.